Hello, friends! Welcome to our English audiobook channel, where we bring you the knowledge of books in a simple and interesting way. Today, we have brought for you the story of a book that has changed the thinking and lives of millions of people. We are talking about the best-selling book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This book gives you a deep understanding of money, financial education, and the mindset of becoming rich. It is based on the stories of two dads, one rich dad and one poor dad, and how their thoughts and decisions affect their financial lives. That is the main message of this book. In this video, we will explain the 6 lessons, important principles, and inspiring stories of Rich Dad, Poor Dad in simple Hindi. If you want to improve your financial life, this video will work like a guide for you. You will learn how money can work for you, the difference between assets and liabilities, why financial education is more important than school education, and how rich people become rich through their thinking. If you like the video, like and share it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel because our goal is to give you knowledge that can change your life. Now, let's start this amazing journey and understand what this great book teaches us. So, Robert Kiyosaki, the author of this book, had 2 fathers. One was highly educated with a PhD, but he remained poor throughout his life, so Robert called him his poor dad. The other was not highly educated but very rich, so Robert called him his rich dad. Now, you might wonder how someone can have 2 fathers at the same time. The answer is that his real father was the poor dad, while the rich dad was actually his friend Mike's father. His poor dad believed that Robert should study hard, get a good job in a big company, and secure his future. But his rich dad believed that real learning comes from challenges, not just school education. School education can give you good grades, but life education teaches you much more. Education is important, but you cannot achieve everything by relying only on it. Now, let's understand what we should do. The first lesson says, rich people do not work for money. It sounds strange, but this story will help you understand it. There was a man who had a donkey. Whenever he wanted the donkey to work, he would hang a carrot in front of it. The donkey, hoping to eat the carrot, kept working continuously, thinking it would reach the carrot one day, but it never did. For the man, it was a smart trick, but for the donkey, the carrot was just an illusion. Many people are like that donkey. They keep working hard, thinking they will become rich one day, but money remains just a dream. Chasing money like this will never help you reach it. Instead of working for money, make money work for you. When you want to become rich, don't work only to earn money. As you move forward, fear and greed start controlling you. The fear of staying poor makes you work harder, and greed makes you dream about all the things money can buy. This cycle never ends. You earn more, spend more, and get stuck in what Rich Dad calls the rat race. This is a trap of fear and greed, and you must avoid it. Most people who want to become rich get stuck in this trap. So don't run after money, make money run after you. If you have a job, don't go to work thinking only about your monthly paycheck because that paycheck can barely cover your bills. This becomes a monthly story. Then you get frustrated, look for another job, and start working even harder. But still, you are working for money, and that is why you never become rich. Face the truth. You are responsible for yourself, not for others. Ask your questions to yourself because only you have the answers. Are you working just for security in life, a job where you don't fear being fired? Or are you working only to earn some money, thinking that one day you will become rich this way? Is this enough to satisfy you? If your answer is yes, then it is sad because your dream of becoming rich will never come true. You will always live in poverty. But if your answer is no, then your first step is to remove fear from your mind. The fear of not earning enough money and greed force you to work without thinking, and this pushes you toward failure. Fear and desire are natural, but don't let them control you so much that you start making wrong decisions. Think carefully before doing anything. Don't always act from the heart. Use your mind. Every morning, ask yourself, are you doing what you should be doing? Are you using your full potential? Stop thinking like ordinary people who work only for money. Stop blaming your boss for low salary. Remember one thing, you are responsible for your problems, no one else. If your boss is not increasing your salary, don't blame him. When you take responsibility for your problems, only then can you find solutions. This is the first lesson that Rich Dad taught Robert. There was another part of this lesson. Rich Dad made him work in a convenience store without paying him. He kept working, but the benefit was that he worked with full interest and many new ideas came to his mind. He started thinking about how to make money work for him instead of working for money. He noticed that the store clerk used to tear the front page of comic books, keeping one half and throwing the other half away. In the evening, a distributor would come, take the top halves for credit, and give new comic books in return. One day, Robert asked the distributor if he could take the old comic books. The distributor agreed on one condition, that he would not sell them. This gave him a business idea. He started renting those comic books to his friends and other kids. He charged 10 cents per book, and each book was given for 2 hours. So he was not selling them, just renting them. He didn't even have to work at the garage where the comics were rented. He hired Mike's sister and paid her $1 per week. In 1 week, he earned $9.5. This is how he learned to make money work for him instead of working for money. Now let's move to the second lesson, why financial literacy is important. In 1923, a meeting was held at the Edgewater Hotel in Chicago. Many powerful leaders and wealthy businessmen attended this meeting. Among them were Charles Schwab, the owner of a big steel company, and Samuel Insull, president of the largest utility company at that time, along with many other rich businessmen. But after 28 years, many of them died poor. Some committed suicide, others lost their mental balance. The real point is that people become so busy earning money, they forget to learn how to keep it. You can earn as much money as you want, but the real skill is to keep it. If you learn this skill, you can handle any difficult situation. In fact, with proper planning, bad times may not even come. People who win millions in lotteries enjoy life for a few years, but then return to their old situation. Most people have questions like this. Most people ask questions like how to become rich or what to do to become rich. These questions often lead to disappointment, but the correct answer is that first you must learn to become financially literate. If you want to build something like the Empire State Building, you first need to dig a deep foundation and make it strong. But if you want to build a small house, even a 6-inch concrete slab is enough. The problem is that most people try to build an Empire State Building on a 6-inch slab, and obviously it will collapse. Poor Dad wanted Robert to study hard, but Rich Dad wanted him to become financially literate. Most school systems teach how to build a house, not how to build a strong foundation. Education is important, but it is not everything in real life. Now comes the third lesson. Understand the difference between assets and liabilities, and always buy assets. It sounds simple, but this one rule can make you rich. Poor and middle-class people often consider liabilities as assets, but rich people understand what real assets are and invest in them. Rich Dad believed in the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. He taught Robert and Mike this simple idea, which helped them build a strong foundation. The idea is simple. Understand the difference between assets and liabilities and buy assets. If it is so simple, then why isn't everyone rich? Because it is so simple that people don't even think about it. People think they understand assets and liabilities, but they only know basic literacy, not financial literacy. Income statement means profit and loss, how much money comes in and how much goes out. A balance sheet shows the balance between assets and liabilities. Even many educated accountants don't clearly understand how these two are connected. Assets are things that make money for you. For example, if you buy a house and rent it out, the rent can pay your loan and you still own the house. On the other hand, liabilities take money out of your pocket. If you buy a house to live in, it does not generate income, so it becomes a liability. So if you want to become rich, buy assets. If you want to stay poor, keep buying liabilities. Rich people have more money because they follow the KISS principle. Poor people fail to understand it properly. That is why it is important to become financially literate, not just literate. Numbers don't matter. Real change happens when you write your own financial story. In most families, hard-working people earn well, but what is the use if all the money is spent on liabilities? Let's understand how a middle-class person spends money. Most of their income goes into liabilities: rent, car loan, house loan, credit card bills, fees, electricity bills, and many other expenses. Their entire income is spent on these things. Poor people may not have big liabilities, but they also don't have assets. They earn money but spend everything on daily needs. For example, a poor person earns $1,000. Out of that, $300 goes to rent, $200 on travel, $200 on taxes, and $300 on food and clothes. Nothing is left. Sometimes they even borrow money, which makes them poorer. In contrast, rich people buy assets. These assets generate more income and their money keeps growing, from 2 to 4, 4 to 8. Most rich people use their mind. They take loans and put them into rental assets. Every month, they receive rent without much effort, and from that rent, they also repay their loan. For example, if the loan installment is $1, they charge $2 as rent, give $1 to the bank, and keep $1 in their pocket. This is how they earn money without working for it. The real difference between rich dad and poor dad is just their thinking, how they spend money. In 1967, when children were asked what they wanted to become, most answered that they would study hard, get good grades, and become doctors or engineers. Everyone believed that good grades would lead to high income. Today, many of those children have become doctors, yet many still struggle financially. They believed that earning more money would solve all problems, but that is not true. Today, many children want to become famous athletes, CEOs, movie stars, or rock stars because they understand that good grades alone cannot guarantee success. Financial problems are very common today. Newly married couples often think their income will double because both are earning. Living in a small house, they start dreaming of a bigger house and begin saving for it. As their income increases, their expenses also increase. Without financial literacy, when people earn more money, they start spending more. This cycle keeps repeating. When a couple earns enough to buy a bigger house, they feel they have become rich, but in reality, they have only increased their liabilities. Their cash flow now includes property tax, car expenses, furniture, and many new costs. As income increases, expenses increase too. One day, they realize the truth, but by then, they are deeply trapped in the rat race. Then people ask Robert how to become rich, but this question itself is the problem, because people think money is the solution to everything. Their real problem is not that they don't earn enough, but that they don't know how to manage what they have. There's a saying, when you find yourself in a deep hole, stop digging. Most people are afraid of public speaking. Psychiatrists say this fear comes from the fear of rejection, the fear of being different, and the fear of what others will think or whether they will laugh. Because of this, people prefer to do what everyone else is doing. They become part of the crowd and feel satisfied. People say your house is your biggest asset. They say take a loan, get a promotion, increase your salary, and buy a new house. We keep hearing these things and start following the same path, thinking that if everyone is doing it, it must be right. But that is not true. Rich Dad said that Japanese people understood the power of three things: the sword, precious jewels, and the mirror. The sword represents physical power, jewels represent the power of money, and the mirror represents the power within yourself. That inner power is the greatest strength. When you know yourself, you can stand in front of the mirror and ask, "Am I right, or should I just follow the crowd?" The answer you get is your true strength. Poor and middle-class people become slaves of money, and that is why they never become rich. At the age of 16, Robert and Mike attended meetings with Rich Dad, where he met accountants, managers, investors, and employees. Here, they saw a rich dad who was not highly educated, who left school at the age of 13, yet he conducted meetings, gave orders to educated people, and explained business ideas. He was someone who did not follow the crowd, who took risks, and who did not care about what others thought. The result of these meetings? The result of these meetings was that the author and his friend could not focus on school studies. Whenever their teacher gave them work, it had to be done according to rules. They realized that school education often suppresses creativity and does not allow children's talents to grow. It turns them into mechanical parts of society. They also disagreed with the idea that only good grades can make someone successful and rich. One day, Robert had an argument with his poor dad. His father believed that his house was his best investment, but he was stuck in the rat race. His income and expenses were equal, and he had no free time. Robert tried to explain that for his father, the house was not an asset, but a liability. It was taking money out of his pocket without giving anything in return. But his poor dad could not understand this. This was the real difference between Rich Dad and Poor Dad. Robert explained that most people spend their lives paying off loans. They take a loan for a house and spend 30 years paying it. Then they buy a bigger house and renew the loan again. There is no guarantee that the value of the house will increase. Some people even take loans larger than the value of the house, which increases their debt. The biggest problem is that they cannot invest anywhere else because all their money is tied to the house. They never get the chance to invest or learn about it, and many opportunities slip away. If people focus on assets instead, their future can be much better. For example, Robert's wife's parents moved into a bigger house thinking it was a good decision. Like others, they believed a house is an asset, but they were shocked to learn that the property tax was $1,000. Since they were retired, paying this much tax was beyond their budget. This does not mean you should never buy a house. The point is that instead of spending a large amount on a house, you can invest that money in assets. Those assets will generate income, and after some time, you can buy your dream house without any loan. Now the question is, why do the rich keep getting richer while the middle class does not grow? The reason is simple. Rich people buy assets that keep increasing their money. Their expenses are easily managed through that income. Middle-class people wait for their monthly salary, and it gets completely spent on expenses. There is nothing left for investment. As their salary increases, taxes and expenses also increase. The rat race continues. We live in a debt-driven society. Thinking of your house as an asset is one of the main reasons people stay under debt. When salary increases, people think they can now afford a bigger house. They believe it is the right use of money. But if that money is invested properly, their life can change. This does not happen because most of their time goes into hard work. They consider their job as a safe zone and do not think beyond it. At the same time, their debt is so high that they cannot take the risk of leaving the job. Now ask yourself, if you leave your job today, how long can you survive? If you are not financially literate, if you have depended only on salary, and if you have bought liabilities instead of assets, then your life becomes very challenging. Net worth alone is not enough. Net worth shows how much money you have, even if it is in the form of an old car in your garage. But wealth means how much money your money is making for you. For example, if you have an asset that generates $3,000 per month and your monthly expenses are $1,000, then your income is covering your needs. The solution is to increase the income from your assets. When your asset income reaches your expenses, you may not become rich overnight, but you will start becoming wealthy. Even if you suddenly leave your job, your assets will cover all your expenses. You can become wealthy only when your expenses are less than the income generated by your assets. Now comes the fourth lesson: mind your own business. Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, once gave a speech in an MBA class in 1947. After the speech, students asked to spend some time with him, so they went for a beer. During the conversation, Ray asked a question: "Do you know what business I am in?" Everyone knew he sold hamburgers. He laughed and said his real business was real estate. McDonald's carefully selects locations, and along with the franchise, the land is also part of the deal. This means franchise owners also invest in the property. This is what Rich Dad taught Robert. Most people work for others instead of themselves. They work for the government by paying taxes, for companies by doing jobs, and for banks by paying loans. This happens because our education system teaches us to become employees, not employers. What you study often decides what you become: doctor, engineer, or something else. The problem is that people get confused between profession and business. If someone asks your business, you should not say you are a doctor or banker. That is your profession, not your business. The idea is to build your own business, not just work a job. Don't spend your whole life working for others. Work to make your own life better. Many people realize too late that their house loan is draining them. They think their house is an asset, but it is actually a liability. The same goes for cars, which bring additional expenses. That is why the focus should be on building assets, not just increasing income. Examples of assets include businesses that do not require your constant presence, real estate, stocks, and bonds. When you buy assets, choose things you are interested in so you can understand and manage them better. Robert was interested in real estate and stocks, especially small companies. He never left his job, but kept building his asset column alongside it. Do not waste the money you earn. Treat your money as your servant that works for you. You can buy luxuries, but remember the difference in thinking. Middle-class people buy luxuries first, while rich people buy them last. Now comes the fifth lesson: the rich invent money. Alexander Graham Bell patented the telephone after inventing it. As his business grew, it became difficult to manage, so he offered to sell his patent and company to Western Union for $100,000. The president of Western Union rejected the offer, thinking it was too expensive. Later, a huge company like AT&T was formed. Robert has been teaching professionally since 1984. After teaching thousands of people, he realized that everyone has potential. Every person has the ability to become great. But what stops people is self-doubt. After leaving school, we realize that in life, good grades alone are not enough to move forward. Not only smart people succeed, but those who are bold also succeed. It is true that to become a financial genius, you need knowledge, but you also need courage and boldness. Most people avoid taking risks with money, but to become rich, you have to take risks. In the coming years, a new Bill Gates or another Alexander may rise, while others may go bankrupt. It depends on you what you want to become. If you increase your financial IQ, you can achieve a lot. If not, the coming years can be more difficult. As time changes, new things replace old ones. Today is the best time, but many people still struggle financially because their thinking is outdated. Instead of accepting their mistakes, they blame their boss or new technology. What was once an asset can become a liability today, so you need to stay updated. Robert designed a game called Cash Flow. It teaches how money works, how to become rich, and how to get out of the rat race. One day, a woman played this game and won a boat card. She was very happy, but when she learned that she had to pay a large amount of tax to keep the boat, her happiness disappeared. The boat became a liability instead of an asset. She did not understand the concept and asked for a refund. Later, she called and said she started understanding the idea. She could relate the game to her life. When we don't understand something, we often get angry and start blaming it for our problems. But it is better to stay calm and try to understand. That is how we win the game of life. Many people win money in the cash flow game but don't know what to do with it. Their old thinking holds them back, and eventually they lose everything. Some people say they lost because they did not get the right opportunities. Many wait for the right chance in life. Some get opportunities but fail to use them because they say they don't have money. Others get both money and opportunity but still fail because they don't recognize the opportunity. Financial intelligence means how creatively you can use money. If you get an opportunity without money, what will you do? If you have money but no opportunity, what will you do? It all depends on your financial intelligence. Most people think the only solution is to work hard and earn more money, but you need to learn how to create opportunities instead of waiting for them. The most important thing about rich people is that they know money is not the real power. The real power is understanding how money works. Your mind is your biggest asset. It can make you super rich or super poor, depending on how you use it. If you want to succeed, you must learn how to grow your money. You need to invest in your biggest asset, your mind, and become financially intelligent. For example, in the 1990s, the economic condition in Arizona and Phoenix was not good. People were advised to save $100 every month for bad times. Saving money is good, but what is the benefit of just saving without investing? It is better to invest a part of it for future growth. During that time, people in Arizona and Phoenix were struggling financially, and investors saw this as an opportunity. People were selling their properties at very low prices. Many investors quickly bought those properties. Robert also bought a house worth $100,000 for just $20,000. After that, he placed an ad in an attorney's office, a $100,000 house for just $60,000. Customers rushed to buy it. His phone kept ringing continuously. He made money from that asset through a promissory note from the buyer, and it took him only 5 hours to earn that money. The $40,000 he earned came from his asset column, and without paying tax, he added this income to his income column by taking advantage of an opportunity. Within a few years, his business generated enough money to cover company car, gas, insurance, client dinners, trips, and other expenses. Most of these were pre-tax expenses. After a few years, the same house that sold for $60,000 was still worth the same. There were still some opportunities, but they required more valuable assets and time, so Robert moved on to find new opportunities. Now, ask yourself, working hard is also hard work. You pay high taxes, save the remaining money, earn 5% interest on savings, and then pay tax again on that interest. Instead, invest your time and money in your most powerful asset, your mind, and become financially intelligent. The world never stays the same. Sometimes there is recession, sometimes growth. Technology keeps improving. Markets go up and down, especially the stock market, which changes every day. But if you are financially intelligent, it will not affect you much because you will be prepared for every situation. Life gives many opportunities where you can use your financial intelligence. You just need to recognize and take them. There are two types of investors. First are those who buy packaged investments, which is easy and simple. Second are those who create their own investments. These are professionals who earn many times more than they invest. If you want to become this type of investor, you need to learn 3 skills. First, find opportunities that others cannot see. Your mind can see what others cannot. Second, learn to raise money. Middle-class people go to banks when they need money, but professional investors create capital and do not always depend on banks. Third, organize smart people. Intelligent people work with others who are smarter than them, so always choose a good investment advisor. This may feel difficult, but the rewards are great. Life has risks, and you must learn to handle them to become rich. Now comes the 6th lesson. Work to learn, not to earn. Once, a journalist interviewed Robert. He had read her articles before and liked her writing style. After the interview, she said she wanted to become a famous writer like him. Robert asked what was stopping her. She said her career was not growing. Robert suggested that she should join a sales class. She said her friend had already offered this, but she felt it was a small job. She forgot that Robert himself had attended a sales school. The point is, having talent is not enough. If you want to earn from your talent, you must know how to use and present it. Without learning how to sell your skills, your talent is useless. There is no shame in learning sales. A salesperson should not feel embarrassed. The biggest difference between Rich Dad and Poor Dad was this. Poor Dad focused on job security, while Rich Dad focused on learning. To become rich, you must keep learning. Schools often reward specialization in one field. For example, after becoming a doctor, people specialize further in a specific area like pediatrics. This means focusing deeply on one subject. To master a field, you need deep knowledge, and that becomes your reward. But to gain broader knowledge, you must work in different companies and learn different things. You need to understand how things work in the real world. Only through experience does your knowledge grow. That is why Rich Dad took young Robert and Mike along when he met doctors, accountants, lawyers, and other professionals. When Robert left his well-paying job to join the Marine Corps, his poor but educated father could not understand his decision. He was disappointed and could not accept why Robert left such a good job. Robert tried to explain that he wanted to learn new things. He wanted to learn how to fly, how to manage teams, and how to run a company on his own. These were the skills he wanted to develop. After returning from Vietnam, Robert left his job and joined Xerox. He did not take that job for money. He was very shy and felt nervous even thinking about selling something. To overcome this weakness, he joined Xerox's sales training program. After that, Robert started his own company and sent his first shipment. If he had failed, he would have gone bankrupt, but he took the risk and followed his Rich Dad's advice that before the age of 30, you can take risks because you still have time to recover. Most employers pay their workers just enough so they don't leave, and most workers work hard just to avoid getting fired. That is why they only care about salary and benefits. This mindset may work for a few years, but not in the long run. So why not learn everything you want now before you choose a fixed profession? Because once you choose a profession, you may get stuck in it for life. So friends, with this, the summary ends here. Thank you.